I am Natalie Bumgarner, and I am an associate professor in the plant sciences department here at UTIA. And I'm also an extension specialist, and I work in the area of residential and consumer horticulture. I'm, developing applied research that is in my area of non-commercial fruit and vegetable production or landscape management, and then teaching that to our stakeholders all across the state in a way that directly benefits them, right? So it can be things like fertilization practices or irrigation practices that support crop productivity while also protecting our amazing surface water quality and natural resources here in the state of Tennessee. Or food production practices that can fit a large backyard garden but also an urban balcony in our ever-expanding cities in Tennessee. So my background is really in horticultural production. I actually grew up on a beef cattle operation, a small one, just a farm, not a ranch, and in Appalachia. And it was really in high school as a teenager that I fell in love with horticulture. Greenhouse production was the thing that I just always wanted to do. And so that led me to my undergraduate work, which was really in greenhouse floriculture production. But what I found was that what I really loved is growing plants. I still do, but also connecting that with people. And so that's kind of what brought me to research and then to extension. And I'm really able to bring that research foundation to a real life practical aspect every day in what I do. My bachelor's is in horticulture. My master's was still in horticulture, in organic vegetable production, but kind of broadly in plant and soil sciences. And then my PhD was in horticulture and crop sciences, where once again I studied vegetable production systems. I've enjoyed every part of my education through the years, but it was definitely the work experience that made the education kind of take hold. I started working in production horticulture when I was 15, so for the next half a dozen years I always worked in greenhouse production. And so it makes the botany and the biology and the physiology come alive when you know why it matters in a production operation. I think that I chose horticulture because it is an area of agriculture that really serves everyone. So I knew that I wanted to work in agriculture, but it needed to be in some place where I could kind of create a career for myself and I didn't need a lot of capital or a lot of backing. And so I think that's one of the cool things about plant science is about horticulture specifically, is that yes, there's a lot of horticulture in rural areas, but there's also horticulture in urban areas, and whether it be vegetable production or greenhouse production, there are areas where you can begin a career without a lot of capital. So it's accessible to a wide range of folks. About 2% of employment takes place in production agriculture, which means that there's 98% of people who want to engage with us, but it may not be their livelihood. It is not their career. And so I see my role as being able to connect with that 98% and say, here's how what we do in agriculture and horticulture can benefit you. Oh yeah, and here's also what production agriculture from that 2% means to you. Enjoy your studies, invest in your classes, but really work on finding opportunities for practical work experience. Whether you work in a greenhouse, whether you work in a public garden, whether you work on a production farm operation, really get experience in growing crops, in working with people, in those applied sectors. Those who come from a very experiential background have things to teach us about agriculture and about horticulture that our more academic or classroom-based backgrounds may not have given us. And I think that the opportunities that I've had to work with folks who have been growing those crops or working in those operations for 10 or 20 or 30 years, they're invaluable. So learn the systems, but definitely respect and learn from the people that you get to engage with in those jobs as well.